my wave. That's the best way I can say hello that doesn't feel like forced. I always do wave at people out in the like world. If I have to, like, when I walk into the gym, I just go. That's my intro. Good morning. Welcome to the middle of January 2026. And what I've been feeling about this week in particular is like what kind of keeps coming up to the surface is this feeling of like it's very sobering this week. There is like like how I don't know if you've ever been in like recovery or recovery spaces or gone through any like process where somebody is working on their sobriety. But it's that feeling of like when the person first gets sober, kind of feeling like, okay, like motivated to do this. I can make this happen. I'm going to do this. There's like all this kind of excitement and like feeling of, I keep hearing the word like false motivation, which isn't necessarily true, but it kind of fizzles very quickly once you get into like the meat of life and reality. Like there is this feeling of those are the things that you turn to: drinking, eating a lot, online shopping, like social media. There's all these like really, for each person it's different, but these are the things that we turn to when life gets squeezed. And a lot of times these are the things that turn into negative experiences in our lives. And so we try to remove them completely, or like have resolutions to remove them completely, or those types of declarations that we make because we know that there is a path towards healing that requires removing these coping strategies that aren't actually serving, the higher purpose of the heart and soul. And so this week is that feeling of, okay, you've taken away the coping, the thing that has been helping you in ways to deal with and process feelings and reality and the intensity of reality, especially, of course. I mean, I'm going to say like for years now. I mean, we've been really, 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 really in it. All these things that we're using to help act as anchors, as like healers, I'll just take the drink and I'll feel better. I'll just smoke weed and I'll feel better. And temporarily can feel like a relief of the pressure. But there's always a but. That is, I think, one of the hardest things about getting to a place where you're no longer reaching for the thing that is also harming you is that, number one, you have to be ready. Like that's what's, I think, the most difficult about when the calendar tells you that it's time to change something, like even in astrology, and I love astrology, but even in astrology, like when there's a new moon and the astrologers will all say, okay, now it's time to release something, and there's a full moon, or wait, it's the other way around. Full moon is release, new moon is manifest, okay? And we get a full moon and a new moon every month. So now it's this feeling of like, okay, well, now there was just a full moon. That means I need to release something. There was a new moon. This means I need to think about what I want to manifest. And it can all just get so like overwhelming. At least for me, I get overwhelmed very easily. But, you know, you have to find where participating in certain practices feels right in your body. So for me, it feels like I need to actually just, I can hear, you know, the pressure. I can hear the like call to, now it's time to release something. Now it's time to, you know, start something new. And find out first if that's true in my body. Like, is that true in my experience? Am I ready to look at this thing in my life that I probably know on some level is on its way out of my life, or at least I would feel like more at peace with who I am and how I'm behaving in the world with releasing this thing. But number one is that you do have to be ready. So I guess with saying that, it's like there is pressure from, you know, outside like sources of, you know, new resolutions, new year. Then we're coming up on the year of the fire horse, February 17th, which somebody put in the comments of my last video. And that actually brought me a lot of comfort. And I'll say why that did bring me a lot of comfort that particular time. But, you know, these are all just calendar dates, and we are the ones who make them mean something. And so there is sometimes, you know, a feeling of like, it's okay to just not participate. It's okay to just go, I don't have anything I want to release right now. Or I would like to release this thing, but I don't feel ready yet. Or like, yeah, I would like to get rid of all my clothes and buy a whole new wardrobe, but like that's not practical for my means right now. Don't make all of these like dates on the calendar become the next thing that like you have to do. That just continuously kind of piles things on, and then it makes you feel like you're the one doing all of it. That's more so like what I want to point to is the universe knows what it's doing. I promise you. I promise you that if you don't, you know, intentionally, let's say, try and release something, or if you don't intentionally try to manifest something, the universe is still going to bring things in and bring things out of your life. That is not up to you. I think it's so great to have like intentions and things to work towards, but you know, there's that like saying of like, life is what happens when we're busy making other plans. And it's so true every time in my life that I've been like, this is the direction, this is the way, this is the path, this is what I'm doing next. It's just all of a sudden like, no, it's not. That's not the person. That's not the job. That's not the, you know, but my mind wants so badly to believe that that's the direction because I'm so tired of being in the place of the unknown, you know, the place where it's like, I know it's coming, but it hasn't come yet. And so, yeah, doing all these like extra things that are sometimes even, those can almost become their own like panic and stress. If I don't do this, then it's never going to happen, or I won't get what I want, or, you know, that kind of thing. Like if it's feeling clenching and not like you're in the flow, trust that. That's the main thing. Just trust what your experience is and how it's making you feel to kind of go through the world according to all this pressure that gets placed on us, you know, during these kind of like times of year. I hope that made sense. That's just been very like on my mind, and this feeling of this week, yeah, being sobering is, I think the reality sets in with people where it's kind of like, I'm gonna pull a card. I don't mean to tap tap like, you know how, I don't, that's not what I mean. I'm showing you. I feel like the older I'm getting, the more I'm realizing, that I'm not the one in control, that I can trust that the next step always shows up, that if I don't have the energy to put towards calling something new in or trying to make space for things, and let things go before I even feel like I'm ready, or if I even feel like I have the energy to do it, that's also just absolutely okay. And not even just okay, but like it can be so freeing because you're not having a stranglehold on what you think your life needs to look like. Trust life, trust the flow, trust that like the liminal, uncomfortable, weird space doesn't last forever. And with, getting rid of negative things in your life that you don't feel are serving you well, in my experience, there is always a point that comes where you're ready. I swear that's how it feels for me. I've been alcohol free for 9 years. I've been weed free for 8 years. No, I didn't have a problem with either of those things. I just, as like a channel and like a person who reads energy, before I even understood that was like what was really happening in my life, and that was like the gift that I was here to give, I could just feel like these things are blocking me. These things are blocking my channel. These things are making me feel like I just couldn't get the benefits of whatever using those things was possibly helping me with, masking like sensory overwhelm and masking social pressures and things like that, which that's how easily they can become addictions, especially for neurodivergent people, because it is so hard to exist sober in a neurodivergent body and still have to try and show up for social pressures and all of the like overwhelm of the whole world. But for me, I could just feel that I was ready, but I didn't. I would stop drinking, and then I would try it again, and I would see how it would feel in my body, and I just kind of had to keep going through that pattern. Now, I know that's different for people who have an intense and serious problem. And so, we all have to trust the path. We all have to trust the part of us that is coming through and asking to be seen, and like just believing in that guidance and that that healing energy that's like always part of who we are and how we move through the world. But with these types of addictions and things like that, what I can really recommend is, if you are planning on, or if you have planned on removing something from your life, let's say scrolling on your phone for however long, you have to have, before you stop the thing, something that you'll turn to when you want to turn to that thing. Because otherwise, what happens is you say, okay, no to this thing, then the first like week or so of that, not having that thing, is like, oh, that's okay. Like, not too bad. I'm doing okay. But then week 2 hits, week 3 hits, week 4 hits, month 4 hits. Like that's where all of a sudden reality comes in. All of a sudden, everything you've been pushing down comes up. All of the things that make you feel like crunched and contracted, and then you reach for those things to help numb out all of that feeling of intensity and overwhelm, and you're self-soothing with those things. Those things aren't the option anymore. So then what is the option? And so that's why it's so important to have like in place things that you can turn to that aren't going to cause you to like self-destruct back into those habits. So yes, the word sobering for this week, because I think a lot of people are coming up against that right now, you know, which is why a lot of resolutions fall off within 9 days, I think it is, because yeah, reality, here it comes. All of a sudden, like, oh yeah, that's why I do those things. That's why I think sometimes people don't even know that that's why they're choosing them. But let's pull a card and see what the cards want to say. There's nothing wrong with you if you're not doing it perfectly, by the way. I mean, hope that you know it's a whole journey. It's a whole life process. And it's not going to ever look perfect. But you're still here. That's the most important thing. You're still here. You've been through so much and you're still here. So please do be compassionate with yourself as much as you possibly can. And celebration. Oh, that really brings up, like, that kind of made me feel tender of like, yeah, celebrate that you're here still. That we are in some really, really, really intense times. And I think that, let's say you have fallen off the wagon in whatever way. Sometimes I think the kindest thing that we can do is just say, yeah, you know, I chose that thing again, but it was either that or something worse. And like, sometimes the less of two evils is the kind thing to do for yourself. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't want to go to like, I don't know, the depth of feeling right now feels very open. Because when you take away those things as well, there's this huge tenderness that opens up in people. And I'm right at the top of it. Like, I don't know, I can't really explain it very well, but I feel like that's the place that it needs to be coming from right now. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. In my life right now, there is I want to say sadness, you know, but I don't know if that's exactly the word. It's just a very tender, wounded kind of energy that I've really just been dialed into all week, picking up from people. And it's sort of the high wore off. And now we're sober, and now we're seeing again. And what does that mean? And what's it going to look like? You know, another year, another, like that all kind of happening right now. And every time I get into that space with myself, I just think, trust that part of you that has gotten you to this point. Trust like, that you aren't the person who goes searching. Something in you will guide you to that thing. And all the while you're looking here and here and here and here. But, and I think maybe that can also be its own sort of like addiction and distraction. But there's always, just the more you can remember, just surrender. I just surrender this. I don't know what to do right now. I don't know which way to go right now. But I trust that you, universe, divine, spirit, source, you know the way. And I hand it over to you. Like that over and over and over as many times as you need. And being still and waiting, and not like not doing anything, but not doing things from that panic place of like, what now, what now, what now? What do I need to do? How do I need to, and then burn yourself out that way. You're not alone. There's always something here that knows what it's doing and is guiding you. And yeah, that's what I was gonna say with the comment about we're still in a release, we're still shedding, we're still in the wood snake year, which doesn't shift into the fire horse until February 17th. And somebody commented that to my last video, like in a moment where I was just like, oh my gosh, that's right, I forgot. And that I just needed to hear that at that moment, which I love when the universe does that. It's like those synchronicities mean so much to me. And what was really interesting was that my last video, I was talking about how all of a sudden I just couldn't reach for these certain clothes that I had been wearing from my previous like whole identity of like my last business I had for 10 years. And there was just this very obvious inner shift happening. And I said, it's like we shed skins. And at that time, I wasn't even conscious of the fact that we were at the end of the wood snake. But that's how like channeling works, is there are things that come through me that it's like, I have no idea why I'm saying that. It's almost like when I'm talking right now, I just drop in and I forget about what I'm wanting to say or what I have planned, and I just let it kind of come through me. Like that's a lot of what intuitive work is, and channeling from whatever consciousness wants you to share. And it was so funny because it was like, that's right. We're in the year of the wood snake still. So yeah, it was right on time for me to feel like, oh, I'm feeling like my skin is shedding with these clothes, and that kind of thing. It just felt really like aligned. And it's always one of those things that anytime a synchronicity happens, I think, okay, like I'm being supported, and I don't have to keep trying so hard and worrying so much, even though it's like easier said than done. Let's pull a card to wrap up this energy today. Oh, fresh approach. Okay. Fresh approach, card number 21. What's going on? I can hear something happening downstairs with my neighbors, and I just like, the saga continues. But I genuinely don't know what I'm hearing right now. Sorry. It's taking me okay. I'm sorry if you can hear that, because there's a noise happening that I just don't know what it is and I can't figure it out. This is how my life has been these last 3 weeks. It's like, what is going on? Okay. This card is perfect though. Time to step out of the box and an old way of doing things. You are being challenged to try something new. Look at how to create magic in your world. Create with the intention of filling your life with joy and happiness. Achieve your desires while experimenting with new activities. You always have options. Don't feel limited. Even when you aren't in motion, you are making a choice. You are being prodded to make a decision now. Don't worry about not making the right one. Every mistake brings us lessons and opportunities. The amount you can learn is immeasurable. Base your choice on love and the best option for you. Imagine that failing is not part of any of your choices. What will you choose? That's so crazy. I get these emails from, I forget what it's like, Conversations with God or something like that, to my inbox every morning. And they always have like a message. And today's message was about like just going all in on something, and who cares so if you fail, and like imagine failing isn't part of your experience, and like what would you do if you felt like you weren't going to fail. And I think a lot of especially what I've been going through with creating this channel and just being here every week is I don't know what I'm going to say like when I show up, and I feel like, well, maybe this video is not going to be as good, or any of that. But I kept showing up, and I keep showing up because I trust something else happening through me. And I trust that even if I look stupid or I feel stupid, like the videos that I think I just totally flop and, aren't going to do well, do really, really, really well. Like I don't ever know. And that's something really to keep in mind, is that if you have the desire, like if you have the pull to do something, that the hardest part about it is, one, doing it, just trying it and showing up, and two, being okay with feeling stupid, looking stupid, having people think that you suck, like all of those things. Like once you can be okay with that, once you can actually be okay with like, that didn't work, I didn't say that well, they didn't like it, like all of those things that will stop you from even trying it, then you can really start seeing the support come in from the universe. Like the universe really does start guiding you forward into the work that it's like it's asking you to go this certain direction. And then when you finally do, even if you can't understand why, even if you don't know what it's going to be or become or look like, all of a sudden you're going to start feeling like, okay, this is it, this is the direction, and just keep trusting that. That's what I've been doing with my channel anyway. And with saying that, oh my God, 27 minutes again. Okay, well, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for all of the new subscribers that I'm getting. It's like, holy crap, I can't believe that the end of the year 2025, I was like, I'm at 95 subscribers, and hopefully I'll get to 100 in the new year. And like right now I'm over 200, and I know that that's still like everybody says is a small number, but it's like, I feel like that is a huge number. And it's amazing to me to have all these energies and people show up and be here and say so many nice things. Like I'm feeling overwhelmed by it, and in a good way. And I just want to thank you so much for that. And I will be back next week for another reading, and I hope you have a good week.